is Senator Mike Crapo. He's Republican from Idaho, but he also served on that so-called Gang of Six. That's why many on both sides are saying, you know, he'd be great at a Gang of 12. This committee, is that what they're calling it, Senator?
It's a committee, not a commission.
6 Republicans, 6 Democrats. I guess the next wave of cobbling together, the next wave of reductions. Have people already kicked your name around?
Well, people are making those kinds of suggestions, but I'm not going there. I'm just going to see what Senator McConnell decides to do as to who he appoints. And one way or the other, I'll work very closely with the committee.
It is a thankless task, being in a gang or being in a committee.
I think I may have
sure
told
you would want that? Yeah.
I think I may have told you before, the knives are out when the Gang of Six brought out its proposal, and boy, the knives will be out on this too. But it's important. That's why the fight will start. It is important,
but the major goal would be to come up with the $1 trillion plus in additional cuts that are already hinting of revenue hikes, tax hikes. We got the Tea Party fears, a lot of your Republican colleagues fears. And I'm wondering if we're going to see all this we've just seen, Senator, all over again in another few months.
Well, we probably will, and we probably would, even if there weren't this committee being created, because frankly, we have a $14.5 trillion national debt, and the step we took today, which was an important step, is a $2 to $2.5 trillion step. We need to do about a $4 trillion to a $6 trillion plan, and we need to do that probably twice in the next 2 years. So you're going to see a lot of battling over our debt crisis until we get out of the deep water.
As part of the so-called Gang of Six, you had advocated that revenues had to be part of the mix, not a huge part of the mix, but part of the mix. And that instantly earned you the wrath of more conservative members in your party, Tea Parties in particular. But do you still agree, or do you still see the need down the road for revenues to be part of this equation for solving our debt problem?
Well, I was always frustrated by the reaction against the Gang of Six from the conservative side, because the solution that we reached was, yes, to provide a mechanism for revenue to be a part of the equation, but to do it in the right way, namely to reduce tax rates, reduce tax expenditures as well, but by doing so, not raising taxes through eliminating of tax expenditures, but by growing the economy. And by growing the economy with a fundamentally reformed tax code, we can actually approach the growth side of the equation in addition to the spending side of the equation.
People automatically think when you remove subsidies, credits, special allowances, breaks for oil companies and the like, that is a tax hike by another name. How do you answer that if you don't get the simplified tax reform after the fact, that the first thing you get rid of are all the tax breaks?
Well, first of all, if you only eliminate the tax preferences, that is a tax increase. I would agree with that. But what I don't agree with is only doing that. You've got to reduce the rates, and that's the key part of our plan that we'll
All right, I'm not meaning to interrupt you, but this just popped up there. This was the president signing the Budget Control Act, this measure, this $2.1 trillion measure. That is what the CBO says to curb spending over the next 10 years. That is what the CBO calls it, $2.1 trillion. I know it's gone off at $2.4 trillion.
Yeah, the CBO, I think, does use the $2.1 trillion number, and that's why this committee will balance it out. The first part of the bill does about $1 trillion, and then this committee does at least 1.2, and hopefully a lot more than that.
Senator, thank you very, very much. Hang in there. When are you leaving home soon?
I'm headed out in the next few days.
Okay. Be safe. Be well.
Thank you.